Hey there, Top Fan Rivalry followers. It is Bill from Top Fan Rivalry. It's Jackson. It's a little colder where he's at than where I'm at, but it is what it is. Jackson, it's weekly review time. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Doing all right? I love it. I love it. Now that you can see Jackson these days, Top fans, you get to see the now he's got the beanie on. He's ready to go. He's wearing his Phillies gear. I mean Braves gear.
Braves,
I
come on.
love it. I love it. So Jackson, start us out. Where we starting out first? Where do we go with our top three tonight?
I mean, I'm going to start off with something near and dear to Braves fans' hearts, and we're going to say goodbye to Chip Carey, however you say his name. I can never pronounce his last name right. He's going to be the Cardinals broadcaster for next season, after being the voice of the Braves for a very long time on
Oh,
television, following the steps of his grandfather, who was the longtime uh, Cardinals broadcaster. So thanks for the memories. It's gonna suck watching the game
thanks for the memories. Peace out.
without
Don't
you
let the
because
door hit you
broadcast
out,
team.
right? I
No,
I don't
it's
know
it's
how
it's
I
more
missed
like
that.
I'm gonna miss the pitchers or athletes comments and the bloop and the blast every inning, every time someone gets on base. I really am. So I am kind of sad. I just thought I'd get the Braves homer one out of the way today. One maybe people weren't expecting.
That there you go. I didn't even see that, but I'm glad that you brought it up. That's good. That's good. My first one, again, Dodger Homer, right? My first one is the Dodgers have promoted Bob Guerin out of the dugout, and the guy that they brought in was the head of baseball strategies, or I can't remember his exact title, but it was like head of baseball in-game strategies for the Dodgers last season. And somebody was on a live with me last night. They were all excited. Yes, this is going to be awesome. I said, so how'd that work out for us in San Diego? Head of baseball strategies. They're like, oh, yeah. Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah.
So I'm yeah, it's definitely something that I look at and I think, oh boy, this should be interesting. So all right. So what do you got for number two?
So the beanie I'm wearing tonight is the Colombian flag. The Caribbean Series started today. 35 days until the World Baseball Classic. This is kind of the warm up. If you guys haven't seen the picture of where they're playing in Venezuela, I recommend you look it up. They're playing overlooking the ocean, beautiful stadium. I just want to play baseball there year round and not have to deal with anything else. That sounds really nice. But yeah, the Caribbean Series kicked off tonight. Mexico beat the Dominican Republic. Colombia beat Puerto Rico. Uh, Cuba beat Curaçao, and then Venezuela and Panama are playing right now. So, lots.
Colombia beat Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
Oof, didn't see
So
that.
it's not the A teams playing for the national teams per se, but it's still good baseball. I think anytime that baseball's on, baseball needs to be watched. So I recommend you give it a watch. If for just the venue alone, just the scenery alone, especially you folks up here in the Northeast with me, because it's going to be really cold tomorrow. Just tune in and imagine you're on the beach somewhere in the Caribbean.
So this isn't the WBC because that doesn't start till next month. This is kind of like the prelims, right?
This is just it's a separate competition that they play.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say because this doesn't start until next month. But yeah, like you said, when baseball's on, baseball needs to be watched. That's for doggone sure. Right. All right. I like that. I like that. Um, my next comment is, or my next one is something that is interesting and is near and dear to your heart, Jackson, because it's the National League East, right? And I am, how do I say this? I'm amazed at the money that was spent, but this week I'm amazed at how many fans from what I'm going to call the top three teams, the Mets, the Braves, and the Phillies, are all talking about how awesome their lineups are going to be and they're unbeatable and things like that. If that were the case, the Yankees would have won about 40 championships in a row. If you look on paper, the Dodgers would have won a championship last year. If you look on paper, all these things are just crazy different, right? But it's interesting. I saw again somebody today that was a Phillies guy, and he says, our lineup's dominant opening day, and they had Bryce Harper in the lineup. Bryce Harper's not going to be there for opening day.
Nope.
So everybody just, as the old saying says, kung fu fighting. Everybody stop kung fu fighting. Let's wait until we get on the field and see what happens first, and then we'll deal with what happens second and third. But my gosh, I just it was blowing me up how much people were saying today, and that my final straw was the Phillies guy. So
You get used to it. Up here, I hear that one a lot.
yeah, I
But
bet. I bet.
all right, I'm on number three already, man. We're flying a
We're
little.
flying tonight.
Maybe I'll pump the brakes a little bit, slow it down, be a little serious. Let's talk about. I don't know if you heard about this or if anybody else has heard about this, but the Baltimore Orioles lease is up at Camden Yards.
Ooh.
So they declined their 5-year extension and they want a long-term agreement with the city. So this is an interesting scenario that's happening. And I actually read an article. This is all relevant. So a lot of people are saying the MLB should expand to 32 teams. I say nay. But anyways, there's a lot of talk of teams popping up in Nashville and Las Vegas. So surprisingly, Baltimore's popped up as one of those teams that might move to Nashville, if they can't come to an agreement with the city. I don't see it happening. Camden Yards is one of the best stadiums in the MLB. I've never personally been there in person, but it's in a nice location. It looks fantastic. It's got the classic buildings behind it. I don't see the Orioles moving out of Baltimore, but on the other side of the coin, I do see a team moving to Las Vegas. The Oakland A's are taking a step closer every single day, including the commissioner of baseball. I don't know if you people remember during the winter meeting on their future. So I think the A's are pretty much one foot out. And rumor has it that today the top athletics officials were in Las Vegas scouting out a spot to build a new stadium. So relocation's a weird thing in baseball. It doesn't happen quite as often as other professional sports. But it's a serious thing. I want your input on this, Bill. Do you think it's good for baseball to relocate and kind of reshuffle your market? Or do you think it's better just to add 2 more teams?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I do think that there are still some cities in America that need teams. I still think that Nashville needs a team, Las Vegas needs a team. I even think that it might not be a bad thing to put something in Wichita, Kansas, right? Someplace in that neck of the woods, or even put a professional baseball team in Salt Lake City, right? Either like any of those places are awesome places to be at, right? But yes, do I think yes? Do I think that relocation is difficult? I do. We've only seen it happen one time in our lifetime, right? Jackson, right, was the Montreal Expos to become the Washington Nationals. Which, by the way, pop trivia question: who was the last person to be drafted? Who was the last active player to be drafted by the Montreal Expos? You should have seen
Oh,
it all
don't.
over social media.
I did. It's Tom Brady. Come on.
Tom Brady as a catcher.
Get out of here with that easy question.
Get out of here. Get out of here. So yeah, so do I think baseball needs to expand? Sure. I do think they need to expand. Do I think that would be good for Baltimore to move out? No. That's iconic. Now, Oakland has had a lot of lean years. A lot of lean years. And their AAA team in Fresno is drawing more of a crowd than the team in the show. So maybe it's time for a new venue. I mean, the city of Oakland's not going to give them a new venue. They've already made that clear. The Bay Area, there's not a lot of places to build, so we'll see. And in California, you're dependent upon cars much more than you are on the East Coast, where you're at, Jackson, or in New York or in Boston, you can get around with public transit pretty easy. On the West Coast, not as much.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this all unfolds. If it's the new Las Vegas Athletics or if they change their name,
Yeah.
you're gonna have the Athletic name, which would be kind of sad because it'd be the Athletics is one of the original names from a long, long time ago. Um, but yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of markets. I think baseball has kind of expanded to more of a global game than just a U.S. game. So the popularity here has kind of gone down, but around the globe, I think it's trending upwards.
Yep.
It'll be really interesting to see how Major League Baseball tries to.
Yeah.
Who's not drawing as much as a crowd can move into that spot in Nashville. Just move up a state or two. To try to take care of the market and not split with Miami.
Well, you also have Montreal wants a team back, right? So if Montreal can support a team, MLB would I'm sure would be happy to put one up there. You have great teams in Mexico and the PR and the DR, right? What about Mexico City? Can you bring Major League Baseball to Mexico City? I don't know.
Yeah, it's all an interesting thing with the World Baseball Classic coming up. It's the what could it be? If
Yep.
we had one really big league. Although not a fan. I think 30 teams is more than enough to keep track of.
Well, it's so yes, it is. Yes, it is, but I'll add this to the whole thing, right? Um, each team plays the other 29 teams this year. If you added, let's say, two teams, then each team would play each team 31 times. You're going to start, I mean, uh, the other 31 teams, I'm sorry, you're going to start to dilute, however you say that. I'm sorry, it's the only language I speak. Um, the rivalries, right? I mean, and we saw this in hockey when they readjusted the leagues, right? Uh, Chicago and Detroit were huge rivals. Now they're in different leagues. And so, or different conferences, I should say. So in baseball, if you add more teams, how does that affect things? Are you going to take away rivalries? So would it be the Las Vegas Athletics, but would they still be in the American League West? Or do they move to the National League West? Do you move Arizona over to the American League West? I mean, there's a lot of crazy things that can happen over time. I wasn't a huge fan of the Astros moving over to the American League because the Dodgers had a rivalry with the Astros, as did the Braves in the 80s, because the Astros are so good in the 80s. So I don't know. I I'm glad that I'm not the commissioner there. You have this look on your face like, you're bringing up good points here, Bill, or you're crazy. Which one is it?
I agree. I agree. I concur.
Yeah. Great number three. I didn't realize that was up. I'm gonna have to call a couple of top fans that are Orioles fans and ask them about this crazy crap. This is
Yeah.
nuts. This is nuts. Okay, number three for me. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So today we're filming this Thursday. Obviously, it'll drop tomorrow, but today is Women in Baseball Day, and they talk about the women broadcasters and the women that are actually in the sport. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's absolutely phenomenal that so many of these women are in broadcasting and they're doing so well in the game. Um, yeah, I think it's cool, and you get to see. Last year they had an all women's broadcast for a nationally or for a major league game. That's cool stuff, right? And there's nothing that doesn't say that you can't hire a young female Vin Scully, so to speak, or Harry Carey or something like that that's going to announce for 50 years. Nothing that doesn't say that. I think it's cool. What do you think, Jackson?
Yeah, I mean, I've always said it. Baseball's for everyone. It doesn't matter where you come from, how you swing the bat, how you throw. If you throw weird, if you hit weird, as long as you like playing baseball and you show up to play baseball or slash watch baseball, you're welcome. You know, the only rules you gotta just let everyone else be there and just enjoy the game that we love. So, I mean, it women in baseball is good for the sport of baseball, just like it's good for the sport of baseball that they bring players over from Japan, that they bring players over from Latin America. You know, it's good for baseball. The more people are involved in baseball,
Yeah.
if I'm making any sense, or maybe I'm just so sleep deprived. I'm just rambling on
Ah.
here. But
No, you're making total sense. You're making total sense.
okay, good. But yeah, it's good, and moving forward, I think it's good that there's maybe we'll see more women actually get a shot to play baseball because we have seen in the past that there have been women more than capable enough of pitching, you know, at a high level. So I don't see why not. If they can play, let them play.
As they said in the Bad News Bears, let the kids play, right? Let them play. Let them play. So awesome. Well, Jackson, this episode has gone quick. I think we done gone and got this done in like 15 minutes.
I mean, everyone's probably feeling gypped because they didn't get Bill and Jackson's 25-minute long rant about something completely weird. We'll save
Hey,
that one for next week. How
we'll
about
save
that?
that one for next week because next week when we film it, we'll be this close to pitchers and catchers reporting. And there's only 23 days till the first spring training game, and you get to hear the best words in the English language. You know what those are, Jackson?
Play ball?
Play ball. That's right. That is absolutely right. So, Top Fan Rivalry followers, we're sorry. We'll get you a longer episode next time. Hey, maybe you like this one better because it was shorter. Who knows? I don't know. But we love you. We appreciate you. Remember to go on topfanrivalry.com. That's where you're watching this, anyways. Remember that you're in the locker room. Go to the front page, click onto the watch party events. Remember, we're going to be in Southern California. We're going to be in Orange County, LA. We're going to go down to San Diego. We're going to go up to San Francisco. We're going to go to Houston. We're going to go to Atlanta. We're going to go to Boston, Philadelphia. We're going to go to New York this year. We want to meet everybody. We want to get everybody involved. And if you're going to buy merchandise, I can never remember this code. Jackson, what's that code that they're supposed to use if they're buying merchandise?
Let's use code Jackson. Get 10% off. Get a sweet hat. Look at Bill's hat. Everyone
Yep,
just
yep.
pop. Look at the hat.
Do.
You can have a sweet hat like that. It's breathable. It's comfortable. It's cool.
It's cool. Yes, sir. Well, Jackson, we'll do this again next week. We appreciate you
I
being
mean,
on. Appreciate you, top fans, listening. What do you say, Jackson? Should we do it again next week?
maybe. Yeah, probably.
Maybe. Why not? All right. Appreciate you, my good friend.
All right. See you soon.